So Russia are about to imminently invade Ukraine, we're told. The main source for these stories being the US. That'll be the same US that took us to war in Iraq on the basis of weapons of mass destruction that didn't exist, and into Afghanistan before walking away, leaving it to the Taliban. Then there was the war in Syria and the war in Libya. Frankly, why anybody should be listening to the US when it comes to invasions and warfare for all the times it's made war for nothing but political gain is beyond me. Surely by now we ought to be wise to this. Russia is moving its troops, but only within its own borders. On the other side of those borders, there are British troops, there are US troops, there are US missiles on its borders. Would you not position your troops in a defensive way with tanks figuratively parked on your lawn? Anyway, this course of events has been seized upon by our lousy politicians as something to distract from their own problems. What better way to cover up all the partying for the Tories or the financial woes of Labour than the prospect of war? The narrative is one of Russian invasion imminent, but they are a threat, and that in the name of humanity, they must be stopped. It's all bull. There's no threat. They've simply positioned themselves to protect themselves. My problem with all of this is that our politicians didn't give a damn about 170,000 people dying of COVID. It was keep the schools open, remove mitigations, get jabbed, go to work. What of their human rights? What are the human rights of Yemen as we continue to sell weapons to the Saudis, attacking them? What are the human rights of Palestinians forced to destroy their own homes to make way for more Israeli occupation as the apartheid state encroaches further into what is left of their lands? What are the human rights of Libyans surviving in a failed state where slave markets now operate after we went to war there and left it behind? What are those Afghans we promised help to but have since drowned trying to reach our shores in desperation, or those left waiting 5 years to be allowed here? Doesn't fit the narrative, does it? I could mention Iraq or Iran or Syria, where we, in the West, the self-proclaimed upholders of justice, have left a sodding mess behind, not concerned about human rights there anymore. You cannot bleat about those poor people when pointing to Russia or pointing to China when you couldn't give a damn about so many people whose lives have been left in ruins and whose human rights you're legislating as fast as possible to no longer count. Human rights matter for all, or they matter for none. Our politicians cannot keep choosing amoral grey areas in between because they don't exist, and we need to stop falling for it.